Good afternoon, my name is David Casella, nurseryman and palm specialist at Earth Works. I just want to take you through the process in this video of our delivery of Sabal palmetto, commonly known as cabbage palms. We have a tractor trailer, semi-truck, 53-foot long bed with 28 various size Sabal palmettos, which range from 12 to 18 feet of overall height. And I'm going to show you the process of me being on the machine, having a second employee on the bed of the truck, strapping up the tree safely as we hook it onto the boom of the Volvo tractor to remove them and set them down, and the third employee will be unstrapping them. So 28 trees, they came in from central, southwest Florida. They've been trimmed up and shipped to us. We're going to unload them, and then I'm also going to show you how we pick them up and set them in the pre-dug holes here and stabilize them, and they'll be ready for sale. This is called Sabal palmetto, commonly known as cabbage palm. It is native to the southeast United States, anywhere from southeast coastal North Carolina to coastal and central South Carolina, down through central to coastal Georgia and just about the whole state of Florida, westward to central Texas, all the Gulf Coast states. And there's different genuses and species, or there's one genus and many species. I just wanted to show you what these palms and all palms start out like. I collected these seeds in spring of 2016, so they're approximately 2.5 years old. This is this palm here, Sabal palmetto. I just randomly planted a bunch of them in each 3-gallon bucket here, and they'd be a lot larger if I would have cultured them and watered them on a regular basis and of course fed them, but I just wanted to show what they come up as, like a single leaf blade of grass. And of course they're more commonly related to grass than they are a hardwood tree. Eventually, when I get these potted up, they'll start to grow their mature Costa palmate fan leaf, like the palms here. As far as this palm's concerned, when this is transplanted, you have to nearly defoliate the entire tree because the root system has to regenerate from the bottom of the trunk. And I'll show you, the root is no much larger than a pen or a pencil in diameter. So all these are basically deceased from transpiration, from it being transplanted from the tree farm, and they have to regenerate from the bottom of the trunk. So that takes a bunch of energy. So in order for this palm to survive the transplant, it nearly has to be defoliated. And within 2 to 3 to 6 months, it'll start to grow 3 or 4 fan palms on it, and it'll be on its way for its growth for the rest of its life at its new planting site. I just want to show you how we strap these up and put them in the holes here. Now, depending on the height of the overall trunk and the size of the root ball is where we determine by equilibrium the weight distribution. Obviously, if you have a palm that's heavier at the top, you need to strap it up higher. If it has a bigger root ball and it's a shorter trunk, you want to strap it down a little lower. So that's where we kind of analyze where to strap it so we can get it upright when it's lifted on the boom and set into the hole properly. Now, initially we're just planting these with the shrink wrap on them now because they're still going to be sold, delivered, and installed. So we want to put enough dirt in here and pack it down. We wouldn't want a typical northeast Florida afternoon thunderstorm and a squall line to come through here and blow this down, or if we have an excessive amount of water and a flood, this can soften up, and it could also fall on, you know, a car or somebody or hurt another plant. So we want to make sure we do this properly. So I'm just going to go around. By the way, sometimes we hand dig the holes. These were excavated by an excavator, so it makes it a little easier and faster to set them in these holes. Now initially, when we go and install these at its final site, as I'm filling this, we take a hose and put a little water in there after it's about half full to tamp out any air pockets. If you have an air pocket, the roots will be exposed to air. That section that's exposed to air could inhibit it, and that part of the root system could actually die, plus the tree can sink and be uneven. So we want to make sure when we plant it at its final site that it's all the air pockets are removed by filling it with water. So what I do is I put about a half amount of soil in this hole, and then I go around and pack it in with my feet. Another important fact about the Sabal palm is it's used as a delicacy in the health food store. It's called heart of palm. Unfortunately, it kills the palm when it's harvested, but it comes out right at the apical meristem where the new spear leaf or bud comes out, and it's a vegetable. So you can find that heart of palm usually at a health food store. It's usually the heart. It's a beige or tan color, and it's usually in a glass jar. So yeah, these Sabal palmettos and many other palm species are very important economic value. So I'm just doing my final soil pack here, and then I'll release it, and of course in a little while we'll have to get some H2O water on this palm and get it watered in to stabilize it more. Just to show you, this palm in the tree farm, you can see the lattice configurations, the crisscross patterns. Those are called leaf bases. That's where all the previous fronds were grown at one time, and usually they're fully skirted, but you can see by the light color, like fresh wood. For example, when someone puts up a new fence, it's all bright and kind of orangey tan color, and then the weather and environmental elements, the rain and so forth, will turn it a cinnamon brown and then gray. Well, these are all removed, so they call this a slick, and then that's booted, which is a generic term for leaf bases. But depending on the architecture, some customers prefer that they're completely booted with the leaf bases, maybe for a more Mediterranean type landscape architecture design, and then the majority of the people prefer them slick and clean like this. And I do recommend you fertilize your palms, no matter what variety they are, quarterly. Typically in March for spring, June, summer, September for fall, and then a winterizer in December, so every 3 months. And organic fertilizer, particularly biotone, is good to add to the hole initially, even as we're planting it here, because that has all kinds of mycorrhizae and natural earth elements that have been extracted from natural resources in the earth, from the sea and the land. You don't want to use chemical fertilizer initially in the hole. You want to wait until you're planted and do a top dressing on that, maybe about 2 to 3 months after the palm is planted. That's important because the chemicals in chemical fertilizer can be a little excessive and burn the tree, and it could typically succumb and expire that way. So you want to really watch using chemical fertilizers. Definitely not in the hole at the time of planting. Okay, now I'll go ahead and release it. It didn't move 1 inch, so I packed it well. Look at that, hole in one. Okay. Of course, one thing I did not mention was when you plant it, especially at the homeowners or the palm's new owner's final site, you want to make sure the tree is vertical and it's straight north to south, east to west. Of course, sometimes that's not always possible because they grow a little oddly. They're curved. They might have been growing under a larger canopy of palms or hardwood trees wherever this palm was grown. So, but you always look at what the top's doing and make sure it's straight up and it's north to south, east to west, vertical.